Hey, I'm Max and you're watching The Roof Lab. This is a video series where we break down the questions homeowners don't even realize they should be asking roofers. Today is episode 2, and we brought in roofing expert Jason Taylor with over 15 years of experience in the roofing industry.
Homeowners often ask how they're supposed to pay for a roof. What options should they expect?
Well, as much as roofs cost these days, hitting the lottery is probably required in one of the options. But in all seriousness, the two ways to pay for a roof are either cash or finance it some way. Unless you knew you needed to replace your roof and you've been budgeting and saving up for it, most homeowners don't have a pile of cash sitting around waiting on a roof to need to be installed. So most homeowners are savvy. Investor style homeowners are using financing to fund that project. That way they can pay it off over time and they can save their cash resources for maybe either an emergency or some other things that they want to spend their cash on.
Should homeowners talk to their bank before meeting with a roofer, or should that come later?
Yes, because your two options are cash or financing, right? And depending on the size of your roof, the size of the project, it can be a pretty large expenditure. And having that amount of cash or parting with that amount of cash is not an easy thing, right? So you lean towards the financing of a larger project like that. Most homeowners will already have a great relationship with their existing bank and can maybe get better rates or better terms on the financing. So absolutely, if you know you have a roofing project coming up, or if you're starting to experience roofing issues and you're in that phase of contacting roofers to come out and give you an idea, it's really good practice to talk to your bank and maybe start that conversation and see what you might be approved for.
So say I'm a homeowner and I get a few quotes around $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
I get a quote about half that for a shingle roof. What factors make it such a stark difference?
It's a really great question, and I think it's a situation that a lot of homeowners find themselves in all too often. Usually boils down to one of three things, or all of the three things. You have your quality, warranty, and your service aspect of things, right? So you're going to have the quality of the materials. You're going to have the warranty, what kind of warranty is included. And then you're going to have the service side of things. Like if there's a problem when you pick up the phone, right, is the roofing company going to answer it and actually do something, stand behind it? Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at a cluster of estimates around this price and you see one for half that, it's likely missing one, if not many of those three. So they're maybe using a lower quality shingle or lower quality materials. They might not be certified by the manufacturer, right? You might be in a state where there's no licensing. So they're just a person that decided to buy a truck and a ladder and become a roofing company, right? Mm-hmm. Which brings you around to the service. If it's a company that hasn't been around for a while and isn't established, what are the chances of, if there's an issue, 3 to 5 years down the road, that they're around or that they even pick up the phone if they're around and you're having an issue?
So where does roofing get cheap?
Unfortunately, the answer to that question is where the homeowner can't see it. Right? It's the invisible areas. So the homeowner doesn't know the quality of the installation or the workmanship until the roof's already on, and then it's too late. The homeowner doesn't know if the ice and water shield is being installed along the eaves and around pipes and chimneys and all these other critical areas. The homeowner doesn't know unless they're on the roof with the crew, mm-hmm. whether the flashing's being replaced. And then once your new roof's on, all that stuff's covered up And as a homeowner, you don't know about where the company got cheap until you have an issue down the road, and now your roof's already on, you're thousands of dollars into this thing, and you realize when another roofing company comes out and says, hey, they didn't replace your flashing. Hey, there's no ice and water shield or drip edge along your eave, right? Then you know what was skipped by the previous roofing company, and by then it's too late. And a lot of homeowners find themselves in that unfortunate situation.
So is a roof just an expense, or should homeowners think about it as an investment?
Well, your home's your greatest asset, right? And you want to do everything you can as a homeowner to protect it, right? So if your roof is protecting your home and everything that's in it, or protecting your greatest asset, wouldn't that be more of an investment? Because it's an investment in protecting the things that are most dear to you.
So what does it mean to start thinking of it as an investment?
It's kind of like the philosophy behind it, right? If I think it's a cost, I'm going to be focused on what it costs right now, right? And that's more of a short-term viewpoint. When I start thinking of something as an investment, my roof in particular, I'm going to think of it as how it affects me or impacts me in the long term, right? And if I do that, I'm going to look at the cost of ownership. When you're focused on cost up front, you're not necessarily focused on what the cost of the ownership is over time. So you might buy the thing that's maybe less expensive on the front end, but you end up having to do your roof in 10, 12, 15 years, and now you've paid for 2 roofs over that period. But if you're thinking of it as an investment, hey, how is this going to impact my home long term? And I'm willing to spend a little more now, invest a little more now, so that I have peace of mind over 25, 30, 50 years, and I don't have to do that over that time. That's thinking of it in more of a terms of an investment versus a cost.
Okay. Why won't reputable companies give prices over the phone?
That's a great question, and we get that request a lot, but it's similar to why a reputable doctor wouldn't give a diagnosis over the phone, right? Without actually having looked at your roof, without actually having a conversation with you and showing you the photos, all the things that we found during your inspection, to kind of get on the same page, so to speak, with the condition of your roof and maybe what the potential solutions are for it. The price is just a byproduct of the solution, right? It's no different than if I put the Wall Street Journal on the wall and threw a dart at it and picked a stock. Same thing if you ask me to give you a quote over the phone. It's like throwing a dart at the stock page and picking your stock, right? There's 50 different options, and I'm relying on the little bit that I glean over the phone from you on what you need and what's a best fit for your situation.
What variables make a phone quote unreliable?
Good question. Allows me to dig a little deeper into the previous answer. Variables like without being on site, I don't know how many layers you have. That affects costs, right? It's more labor to tear off and more disposal fees. I don't know the condition of your flashing. I don't know what kind of siding you have. So if you have a roof and flashing that ties into a specific kind of siding, that's a detail that's going to require different methodology, right? I don't know how high your roof is, how steep it is. I can kind of get a general eye if I street view it on Google, but without actually being on site, I can't inspect those things closely.
So why would getting a quote over the phone be a red flag?
Well, think about it. If there are really detailed or specific things that go into doing your roof the right way, like properly, and you can't identify those things unless you're physically on site, right, and inspecting the roof, then they're giving you a quote based on guesses and assumptions. The other thing is one of the more important things that get identified during our whole house inspection or a proper whole house inspection is getting in the attic, like we discussed earlier, right? To see what kind of insulation you have, to see how your ventilation is functioning, and the condition of your wood. Earlier, we talked about a surprise bill. If I give you a quote over the phone for 12 grand, come out, do your roof, and tell you you have $6,000 more of wood replacement, how happy would you be as a homeowner?
So that wraps up episode number 2 of our Questions Homeowners Don't Know They Should Be Asking Roofers series here on the Roof Lab. Make sure to go and watch the rest of the videos here in this series for more educational insider content about the roofing industry. And as always, post your questions down in the comments below, and be sure to like this video and subscribe. And if you found this helpful, share it with someone facing a roofing decision, because the right questions change everything. And thanks for watching. We've got new videos coming out every week, so stay tuned.